So last video I looked at adding a script to Bob. So I've got Bob here. I added a component which is this script and called Bob Demo, and this is what it looked like. I've got a start and an update, and all I did for the time being was I put some debug.log statements to spit things out. I thought it'd be nice to do something slightly more interesting, and it just brings up a few, the plan that I've got just brings up a couple of little aspects to do, mostly with copying code from online. Because what I wanted to do was, I think on start, I'm going to move Bob. I'm going to spit him across the room, give him a bit of a physics impulse. I'm not going to do it every time, so I'm actually not going to bother with my update. I'm just going to put something into the start. So I looked this up online. I was like, how do I move someone? So I went in and I found rigidbody.addForce, and it's in the Unity documentation. The reason I want to look at this is it gives me a bunch of code, and I want to look at the components here and how we copy this across in a way that actually makes it work. So a lot of things here are the same as what we've got in our code that was auto-generated. I've got using Unity Engine, public class Bob Demo. That's what I called my class. This is called example class. So these bits, you can see between this bracket and this bracket, this is my whole class. I'm not going to change anything there. I've got my void start and I've got this thing. Let's just go and grab that and put that into here. This basically just the rigid body is the physics thing, and it just creates a reference to it which we can use later in our code. Now the red underlining is a problem. What it means is that, you know what I should do is I should just move that over there, and then I can put that there, and side by side is better. It means that I need this to have the reference saved. So I'll keep some variable stuff here. So you'll often see variables that are used elsewhere in the code being related here. And then down here is where I do an add force. Now they've done it in the update. Fixed update and update are very similar. They're closely related. So this, consider this to be the update. They've done it right here, rb.addForce. And so I'm just going to copy that and I'm going to put it in the start. So we've created a reference to the component, the rigid body, the physics component, and then we said transform.forward, and that means it's going to fire Bob forwards. This thrust variable, and that's another one which is up here, this public float thrust. Float means that it's a decimal number called floating point. You can Google that if you're interested. And this is going to work most likely, so I'm going to save that. But just one thing, this public float thrust is something that we would want to be able to change from within Unity. If I go back to Unity now and look at the Bob Demo script over here, it looks the same, but wait, suddenly magically it changes. It's brought through those two public variables, and I can put a value in for that thrust. I'm going to go, I have no idea, I'm going to go with 1, and I'm going to see what happens. So on start he's going to get some thrust forward for Bob, and Bob is just the one, he's not all of them. Let's just see what happens. Did anything happen? I think something did happen because one of the Bobs fell over there. Let's go and have a look. Yeah, so I think a Bob, this Bob, got a thrust forward. Now what we'll do, just to really double check, we'll make its thrust 10, and then we'll find out a bit more about what's going on. Oh, you know what happened? I changed the value while I was in play mode, and it never takes if you do that, so I have to change it again. Okay, anyway, back to play. Let's see if the Bob, I think something happened over there. Maybe I should do like 100. You know what? I think I will. I think I'm going to do 100. And there's one more thing I wanted to say. Well, we'll just try this 100, see what happens. It's not giving it quite as much thrust as I'd hoped. Never mind. The other thing was, when we look at this documentation here, it shows us the this part of it. But if we just scroll down a bit further, it shows us more information. And this one is different because it's the size of force along X, Y, and Z. So I'm tempted to actually do that. Let's just throw it in and see what happens. So instead of doing transform.forward times thrust, I'm going to go with let's go with thrust x, comma, thrust y, comma, thrust z. Did I get that right? Yeah, I did. And comma, didn't do a comma there. And it says force mode.impulse. I'll just copy and paste that. Control C, Control V. Now it doesn't like these because they don't exist, so I'm just going to make them. Thrust X, and that's going to be thrust Y and thrust Z. So those will now appear on back in Unity. If I save this and go back to Unity, I can change more than just a thrust value. I can change, wait for it, wait for it, wait for it. Did I not save it? It doesn't like this thrust Z. That's what the problem is. Did I misspell something? Thrust Z. Thrust Z. Oh, I didn't put my comma in there, did I? There we go. That's the problem. It's often not what you think it is. So thrust is going to change to thrust X, Y, and Z any second. There we go. Let's put in some different values here. So 10, 20, 30. Should see something different happen this time. Should actually fly up in the air because I've given him a Y value. Oh, there he goes. Poor Bob. And he's gone. Alright, so there's a few little things about copying and pasting code from online. You can't just randomly grab the whole thing and paste it and call it done. You actually have to look at it and see which bits are different and which bits are the same and which bits correspond to what you've got already and try and make a little bit of sense of it. But it is very doable, and it's the way to go. So,